Hi, this is Jen at the Crocheters of Awesome blog, and this is update number 3 in my series of let's try to do this quicker on video. You can also find me on Ravelry at Jen2291, and you can always find all my projects there. I'm religious about posting all my projects and stash items there. So first, Tour de Fleece! Yay! This July is a time of year where spinners all around the world are spinning their wheels along with the riders at the Tour de France, which, as you know, takes several weeks, and they have a very detailed schedule as far as how far they're supposed to go every day. They have rest days built in, challenge days built in. In fact, today is a challenge day, so I need to figure out a challenge. So I'm going to be talking more about my spinning today, but first of all I want to give you a personal update. I think I might have mentioned last time that I was getting ready to change medications to Humira from Remicade, and I'm finding that the Humira is working out a little more level, where my highs may not be quite as high. I'm never really completely pain-free, but my lows are definitely not as low, and I don't have that completely debilitating low waiting for my next dose. So Humira you take every 2 weeks, so it's kind of a little more like this instead of like this, which is how I was doing with Remicade. So this is an example of compromise is a good thing. I'm feeling really good. In fact, I've managed to clock my first hours as a direct service provider with my grandson. And for those of you who don't know what that means that the state has granted him a certain number of hours of extra help every week, and I've been certified to provide that help, which is awesome because we love each other. How can you not love a grandma like me, right? And they're the only people more interested in his health and well-being than I are his parents. So it makes for a great team. I still don't exactly know what I'm doing, but I'm working on it and I'm teachable. So for me to be able to add those couple of hours in and still be able to do this and function is awesome. I think a big part of that has been sleep. So people have kind of told me that I've been nicer when I take my pain medication. Thanks, guys. So I've been just taking it religiously. Every night I take my pain medicine. I get 5 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep. When it wears off, I wake up. But that's much better than 2 hours, up for 2 hours, sleep for 2 hours, up for 2 hours. I'm getting a much longer rest at a go. And I think that that's had a huge increase on my energy levels. So I'm still medicated up to the hilt, but if I can function and do what I need to do, keep my day job, crochet, hang out with my grandsons, it's all good. So yarn. I want to show you what I finished first. You've probably noticed my stylish hat, right? All of you HP Harry Potter fans know exactly what this hat is, right? It's a tea cozy hat, right? And I'm a house elf, right? Except I don't do any of the chores. I'm just adorable. Anyway, for those of you that don't know Harry Potter, there's a character called Dobby, and he is a house elf at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry by this point in the story that we're playing at Hogwarts and Ravelry. And he has a thing for odd clothes. So he wears one sock, he wears tea cozies for hat. I mean, the opening for the spout and the opening for the handle is just perfect for my big ears. Yeah. So hopefully I'll get a few bonus points of awesome for the ears and modeling. Another thing I did for Hogwarts at Ravelry was a Yule Ball project where you have to ask somebody to go to the Yule Ball with you, and you have to make the same pattern. So my partner and I have chosen the Half and Half Granny Square by Heather C. Gibbs. It's on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. and it's a square where that you can do 2 colors. Unfortunately, I can't show you perfectly on this because I've already sewn it into my final project, but hang on just a second. Okay, so you see how I made 4 squares and then I sewed those 4 squared together, and then I sewed those 4 squares into a bag. So you hold it diagonally and you sew, so there you can see 1 square. You bring the point of each square in, kind of like a diaper, and it makes a cute bag, right? Add a button, it's awesome. Next. Actually, next, I don't have to show you in my pile because I already gave them away before I did my video. But they're pretty cool. I tried the Premier Gradient yarn sets that have 5 different colors of yarn in one box, and they look so pretty. I got one in violet and then one I think is called water because it's kind of greens and blues. And I really like the colors, but as I started to work with the yarn, I was going to try to make a scarf or a hat and gloves and stuff, and it just wasn't quite soft enough for me feel-wise. And I felt like here in Arizona, really, other than fun geeky hats, we don't wear hats and gloves too often. It's 116 degrees out today, you know. So I decided to make drawstring backpacks out of them so that we could still see that gradient effect. And then I got crazy and made a red one out of that Joann's I'm missing the name of it. What is it? Is it Sugar Wheel? Sweet Roll. Sweet Roll, that's the one at Joann, the Premier Sweet Roll in reds, because my friend's daughter is into reds right now. So here are the backpacks. Pretty cool, pretty simple. You just, you know, make a bag, make some handles, a little drawstring, but they're utilitarian. Who doesn't need more bags, right? And then I also made this, I used the Peacock Feathers Afghan pattern on Ravelry to get the stitch pattern, and then I used 1 roll of Hobby Lobby's Sugar Wheel. I used 2 skeins actually to make this shrug. And then I sewed up the ends to make little pockets so that as you're wearing it across your shoulders, the pocket is just big enough for your phone or a book or something to just tuck inside there. And here's that wrap. And then finally, the last finished project that I finished that I forgot to show you is this dragon scarf, which is from the book Crochet Ever After by Brenda Anderson. There's a lot of cool patterns in there, but this is just fantastic. So I made it in purples because my friend loves purples and she loves dragons. And I know if I make something in purple, I can always count on her to find a place for it. And so here's that dragon scarf. Cute, huh? I mean, just cute. You could set it on a shelf just as a dragon, but I mean, you kind of have to wear it. Yeah, I agree. So let's get on to my whips. As you know, the saga of the continuing cows continues. They're getting big now. This first one that's in Yarn Bee Baby Bee Sweet Delight Yarns is really soft and wonderful. I'm just going to do halfway so you can see the pattern because it's getting huge. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? My husband already wants to snuggle with it on the couch. This is clue 8 and there's 12 clues, so there's still quite a bit left to go after this. I should have enough yarn to finish this one, and so I'll be real curious to see in the finer yarn what the final dimensions are. And the other one I'm making is in a worsted / Aran yarn. They call it worsted, but it's a little bit heavier. And this is the Premier Sweet Roll in those reds. And I'll do the same thing, except this one's bigger. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's just the center. And then you've got the edges, right? Can you see all that? I don't know if you can see it, but close enough. And I'm actually almost out of yarn for this one. So I don't think I'll make it to clue 12. I should make one more clue and maybe part way into clue 10, and then I'm going to have to fudge an edging. But it's already 70 inches square, which is plenty big for a throw. So I'm just going to use the yarn I have and then call that one done. The last cowl I'm working on is, do I look like a Harry Potter fan in my Dobby hat and my Harry Potter project bag? Yeah. Is the Penny Drops cowl, which is Tunisian. And I'm not as far as everybody else is in this cowl, but I am a lot farther because I was about here last time and now I've done all this way. So on this panel, I'm going to finish the last of this skein, and then I'll start working on the next panel. It's going to take me a little bit. So you may notice that my wheel is empty. That's because I finished the pink bamboo. It's called Oops number 2 because the dyer, Shannon over at Supernatural Yarns, was doing an experiment with me last year about what kind of fibers we might be able to do that were allergy friendly for me and otherwise wool free. Let's see if I can get that close enough for you to see how that is. It's chain plied, so it's a 3-ply. And she couldn't get this pink to work out the way she wanted. She wanted it to be Mean Girls on Wednesdays We Wear Pink. And it turned out to be just kind of more of a flat color than she was hoping for. And she did it twice. She did 3 times actually. She did it twice and it just came out that flat. And so she gave me those 2 oopses as well. This is oops number 2. So oops number 2, this skein is, let's see, 219 yards of 3-ply. That's about 657 yards of singles. And then it's really just a big long chain. You chain and spin it together and that's how it's plied. But this is the 4th of 4 skeins of the bamboo oops. I have 2 of the first color that are, it's a smidge lighter than this one. And then this one is a smidge darker, but they'll go great together. They're both 100% bamboo. They go great together in a lacy scarf or something like that. It should be really nice. And I'm really excited to get this done because July is Tour de Fleece. Did I say that? Tour de Fleece. Tour de France, Tour de Fleece. It's actually Tour de Tencel and Bamboo for me because I can't use fleece, but there's lots of fiber out there nowadays for me to play with. So that's changed a lot over the last few years. I should have opened this before. I'm sorry about that. But so I can show you what's next on my list, and that is these Sheepy Shells by Blaine Fleece and Fiber. Can you see all the color in there? You probably can't see the sparkle even if I move it around. But what happens with these is that they're done on a blending board, and you just pull one end, and then as you spin, it just expands itself and it all pulls together. And it makes the most wonderful yarn. So these are all different combinations, slightly different. They're all based with faux cashmere, which is one of my favorites. It's so soft and smooshy. It just really is. And it spins up really nice. It's got Firestar, silk, tencel, all kinds of sari silk. But yeah, lots of good stuff in there. So I have faux truckles, Vive la France, which is of course for the Tour de France. I think we have a blurple thing going on again here. They look, there's a lot more purple in here than you can see. And then Thunderbird, which is from Fantastic Beasts. So it's kind of a white and cream and gold. The gold isn't showing up really well because it's metallic. But these are going to be my next projects for spinning. And I hope to get those done. And then I hope to get going on some more fiber that I have, that faux cashmere that I've been stockpiling up. And hopefully I'll be able to get to some of that now that I've kind of got those gears grinding a little bit. Should go pretty fast on the wheel. So here's my question for you today. Are you doing tour de fleece? Do you spin? If you spin, what do you like to spin? Do you drop spindle? Do you have a wheel? Like mine is an electric wheel, so I don't have to treadle. I'm not a huge spinner, but I love to spin for fun, and I love to crochet yarn that I spun. There's just something really amazing about that. And I also want to hear about your cowls. Are you like me where you get impatient with cowls and you want to be done? So we're at clue 8 of 12 on those Atlanticus cowls. I'm ready to be done now. And if I had those clues, I would just power through and finish those babies up and be moving on to something else. On the other hand, it is kind of nice to only have a little bit that you can do each week, and then you have to move on to something else like you're spinning. So it's working out really well for me while we have Tour de Fleece going on, because I can do those parts real quick and then I can switch to spinning. Where I'd be tempted to just crochet and crochet and crochet the whole week until I get those done. And then I guess lastly, because of my wonderful hat here, how geeky are you? Are you as geeky as me? Would you wear Dobby's Tea Cozy hat on YouTube? And there's a certain point where, you know, geeks will wear anything because it represents their fandoms. So that's all I've got today. That wrapped up really quickly, but there's a reason for that. I'm feeling so good. I've got the grandsons coming over tonight and we're going to make pizza. So I'll see you next time. Happy crocheting.